Hesus Inoma from WeSavvy.
Yes.
Welcome back to IrishStartUpTV. Good to see you.
Me.
How are you?
Good yourself.
So we talked, when was it we last spoke? Back in
this was
August,
back
September?
Yeah, this was actually October.
Okay.
An event we have
for
Idea Started.
Fintech hackathon up at Qualtrics.
Exactly. It was a great weekend, like,
it was.
Great environment, great ideas came out of it. It was really brilliant.
So tell us a little bit about WeSavvy.
WeSavvy, basically what we're doing is we're taking insurance 360.
Okay.
So insurance started in the coffee houses, yourself, back in Lloyd's.
Okay.
And everyone used to do their business, like bring it to the coffees, sign the contracts.
So back in your old times, finance was all done around the coffee shops.
The coffee shops, and then it grew a big market. Lloyd's market grew out of that. So now what we're doing is actually bringing the coffee house element into it. So now you can be in your Starbucks on your mobile, download WeSavvy, and then you can engage with the brokers online. And we have a twist on it.
Okay.
So at the moment there's only 3 touch points between your broker and the actual policy holder. Is when they buy a policy, when they renew a policy, and if there's a claim on alteration in the policy itself. It's not enough to create the engagement needed between the broker and the actual policy holder. So we changed that engagement to 365 touch points. So every time when you walk around a cycle, your broker can give you cash points on your insurance premium through WeSavvy.
Okay, so you demonstrate that you're not using your car and that you're walking or cycling or...
Exactly,
okay.
You're dead right, Richie. Is the concept of telematics. So it's been proven in the motor insurance market. So good drivers get rewarded for driving safely.
Okay.
So we asked the question, why don't healthy people get rewarded for being healthy? But the WeSavvy is not only for healthy people, for everyone that wants to make that positive change. So we incentivize them through rewards, which will be monetary rewards through their policies, but then we escalate to other rewards also.
Okay, so there's 2 elements here. One is the technology element that is tracking movement to reward people for healthier activity.
Yes.
And then the other element is you're also providing insurance discounts based on this activity.
Exactly. Our algorithm has 6 risk patterns, risk categories. Okay. So as we see your activity, we incentivize you to actually become healthier, to walk around a cycle initially. We're going to go into other elements after. And then every month you can switch. So there's an element of gamification. So 1 month you can be a newbie. And then if you walk more steps, you can go to an advanced level up to a pro.
Okay, and what insurance companies are you specifically targeting, or what sector?
So we started with the life insurance industry.
Okay.
There are 3 main segments when it comes to insurance. There's life, the non-life, and then the health. When we started with life insurance industry, we signed all the biggest players in Ireland. They're all up on our website. We signed agreements with them. We can intermediate their policies. But then the idea is actually to move into health later on, because it's low. We know the value that the product can deliver, and who knows, you can actually go into non-life also. We have a license to do non-life business, life business, and health business. So the world is also in a way, like,
fantastic. But the main focus now,
main focus is the life, and what we mean life is protection business. So term insurance, serious illness, income protection. Those policies that for the user to be protect themselves, because we feel that everyone, especially for our gap, for the between 25 to 45 years of age, that are the people that we're targeting, already physically active, they should have these policies. As you can see today, insurance is all around us, but some people don't see the value in insurance, so we want to showcase them the value of insurance and grow the industry as a whole.
This is a nice win for the insurance companies. So is that how did you get in then to the insurance companies? Was it by presenting this value proposition to them to onboard new customers?
To be honest, we started with the consumer.
Okay. Because
the problem with the insurance industry is that it was not a product that was sold well to the consumer, in a sense that they didn't deliver enough value. As in, even if we look at terms and conditions, very, very complex. So we started with the consumer. We say, how can we show the insurance companies they have an unbelievable product? Why don't they put it in a way that the consumer could actually engage and benefit more and understand the value more?
Okay, so it was about working with the messaging of the insurance companies.
Working with the messaging, but also change their ethos, their mindset.
That's a huge thing. It's not easy to change a mindset, let alone of a traditional company that's been around for a couple of 100 years. How did you go about doing that?
Yes, we took the bull by the horn, as I say. We want to we reinventing the customer side of things, but we reinventing also the insurer's perspective.
Yeah.
So we told them, like, the industry is dying. We showed them facts. In US, for example, the market has been growing in consumer goods in all different segments. Insurance grew 0%. this is after the crisis.
But in terms of the practical piece, did you just ring them up, or did you have a contact, or?
Our process was slightly longer.
Okay.
So we went and got a license by the Central Bank of Ireland.
To be an insurance broker?
To be an insurance broker.
Wow, okay.
So we are licensed in 9 European countries, which covers over 86% of the European market.
Okay.
And we told them, here we are, we're licensed, and now we want to really showcase you this proposition. So that made a very, very serious point that we're not here to joke, we're really here to change the industry.
So that made it easier to get the meetings with the insurance companies because you were a broker?
Because I'm a broker, but I always I studied insurance also. Maybe, it's a bit about me that a lot of people don't know. I studied insurance at the University of Limerick.
Okay.
I did 4 years there.
Really? So what, you did a business studies degree focusing on insurance, or what was the level of study?
No, he actually specialized in insurance from the get-go.
Oh, really?
So the
Right.
degree was international insurance and European
Okay.
studies. And then I went on to do a postgrad in financial services.
Okay.
And then I did all my professional qualifications within insurance also. So I became a qualified financial advisor, a chartered insurer in the UK, which covers also other areas around the world, and a chartered banker.
Okay.
So my background was pretty solid. So they knew that it was not just a Joe so with an idea coming.
Yeah. You had that domain expertise.
Domain expertise, but also some industry action, because not everyone can get a license from the Central Bank of Ireland to intermediate, not only in Ireland but in 9 European countries.
Yeah, so that's the great thing about the European regulation piece, that if you get it in Ireland, that it licenses you to work right across the Eurozone.
You're right, freedom of services,
Yeah.
so we're going to be passporting our services across.
Fantastic.
But even with that freedom of services piece, there has to be a thorough understanding of data protection.
Yeah.
We have a very good understanding of data protection.
So that was the next question that I was going to ask you, actually, was going back to the product itself. A huge piece here is the data protection, and that if the insurance companies don't want to give you that data as well, that's another issue. So far you found that they've been open to sharing the data?
That's the funny, because we don't think it from the insurance perspective. We think this from the consumer perspective.
Yeah.
We believe that the consumer owns the data.
Okay. But for the consumer to give you the data,
yes,
are you taking the data from the insurance company, or are you taking it directly from the consumer?
We're taking the data directly from the consumer.
Okay.
And they own the data. If they feel to share it with the insurance company through us, they can. Through WeSavvy, which is the easier way, they're going to get the discount.
Okay, so take us back then to that practical thing. So if I'm a new user, firstly, who's your customer? Is it the insurance company, or is it the end user?
We feel that we could be the two plays. We could be a B2C play. We actually working on that element to actually make sure it's honed. So we don't need to wait for the industry to adapt the technology, because we have the technology. We have the expertise to actually launch it to the market. That's why we went straight to go intermediation and be able to do go straight to the market with no issues by anyone. But we could also do a B2B2C play with the insurance companies also.
So right now, where are you at with the product?
With the product, taking you back to the question on how the customer interacts with it, so they can download the app. We actually beta tested the app. We created an app on iOS and Android, and then they can actually buy a policy. We have initial 3 policies on sale on the actual app. We have been parameterized, and once they buy the policy, automatically all your data is synchronized with the actual WeSavvy mobile app. So we pull data from existing apps on your phone, and we're going later on going to go into wearable space also. Okay,
so in this way, you're going back to your core proposition. You're effectively acting as a broker, but you're an insurance broker with a huge difference. You're an insurance broker that's gamifying the process of being insured, and also offering rewards to customers or to end users.
We chose the path to be a broker. But we could also offer this to financial services providers, not intermediating the policy itself. We're a platform.
Would you white label that then?
We're an ecosystem whereby they can come and take certain elements of the platform, and they can actually, see if they can deliver themselves. But we're building the ecosystem whereby people which are health conscious and don't want to change their lifestyle, also they can come and participate and be rewarded and see true value of insurance. Because once we create this ecosystem, we see great things happening in future from it. And that's what
that's the exciting piece.
That's the exciting piece. This is also the first phase, same as we started the initial proposition with the insurance companies to digitalize the whole insurance process and put you in your phone That was our initial proposition to them. This is our second stage, whereby we gamify the whole process of actually getting value from the insurance policy, and then you're going to see a third stage, which will be more and more interesting.
When we first met you, it was up at the offices of Act Venture Capital with John Flynn and the C-Camp guys for the C-Camp open hours.
Yes.
Or office hours, excuse me.
Yes, yes.
So tell us, what's happened since? You were based in Tala at the time, and when we spoke in October, you said, "Oh, I'm here. I'm going to stay in Ireland. I'm never leaving Ireland."
Yeah.
And then I got a call from you in December to tell me you're in Portugal. So talk us through a little bit about what kind of support you had in Ireland, and how did you end up in Portugal?
It has been an amazing journey. It has been an amazing journey. It's unbelievable within the short space of time, the amount of traction we made within the industry, not only in Ireland but around Europe and worldwide. We began with the New Frontiers Phase 2, where we got a grant from the government to develop the initial MVP, which we spoke about there, the mobile app.
And that was at Tala Institute of Technology?
That was exactly Tala Institute of Technology with Synergy Center. A great program, great managers also. I advise anyone that is looking into fintech to actually get involved in that particular space.
Do it.
Exactly, do it. Tala, don't forget Synergy Center. But they're really, really great mentors down there. And then from there, we got picked up by Deloitte Digital Disruptors. They said, "Oh, Jesus, like, we're here, what you're doing here." We got featured in Fintech.
So they contacted you?
They contacted us, but this was in the back of a great article by Rick Hobson. Is about Fintech Daily, but now he has moved into other ventures. He wrote an article on us that we actually got featured in Bank Innovation in America also. So we got picked up by them, and they said, "Oh, we love what you're doing. Would you apply to this program? It seems like it's a great fit. You want to change the market, and this program will give you the platform to change the market." Well, it was a bit of a pickle because we're finishing New Frontiers in November, and that program was starting also in November.
And that was starting in Portugal?
It's starting in Portugal, wow. Exactly, in Lisbon. So we picked it up. We said, why not? And then we went to the boot camp in October. Okay. And from the boot camp, they picked the top 25 in Europe in insurance.
Really?
And then in the boot camp, they narrowed it up to top 15 in Europe. Yeah. And we made the top 15. And then we incubated by them by 2 months. They really worked on the proposition more on the B2B side of things, because we already worked on the B2C through Tala.
Okay.
We were validating our customer proposition to the end policyholder.
So what caused that pivot? Did they encourage you, or was it a function of a realization of going through the program?
No, there was actually no pivot. We still believe on the core value as the ecosystem. But we said our initial customer, as we see it, is the end user, because that's the real value that we want to bring is the policyholder. And then we said, okay, we're going to validate the proposition with the policyholder. We were in Tala for 6 months, and we did that with them. And then the actual Deloitte Digital Disruptors was an opportunity to accelerate actually validating the proposition from an insurance perspective. Because already validating in Ireland, we'll say, we want to scale, so we want to say, how would this work around Europe, right? Because that was the main question. So we used those 2 months to really validate the proposition around Europe. We spoke to different partners in Deloitte across Europe.
It must really helped as well to have startups from all around Europe.
Yeah, it was buzzing.
Tap into that as well.
It was buzzing.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was really, really good. You could see the energy, you could see the vibrancy, and you could see the opportunity.
And where were you in Portugal?
I was in Lisbon.
Okay.
Lisbon was a great facilities.
So what's Lisbon like for startups? We've had all this hype that Web Summit is moving to Lisbon.
Lisbon.
Why? What's it all about?
Lisbon is taking over. There's a very, very great appetite by the government to actually push startups. And when I mean only appetite is not only just say, they're actually executing. There's finance there. They put in the core infrastructure, services, the people, the programs. They really they went on a New Frontiers, let's say phase 2, let's say with the government is running, but they took it another step. Really, it's fitting in straight into the government level. But apart from that, if you go to a hackathon in Lisbon, majority of it will be developers.
Okay.
So you can see that
versus to qualify that. In fact, at the hackathon we met at, there were a lot of developers, but typically when you go to a startup weekend in Ireland, there's probably 10-15% developers, and everyone else is business owners, idea owners, and designers.
Exactly, Richie. Majority of the hackathons, the developers will be lower numbers, under 20%.
Why do you think that is? Is there a higher population of engineers in Portugal?
The technical skill is really good.
Okay.
Is really good. The universities coming out with some great graduates down there. We met some great people. Really, really great skill sets. You'll be amazed about how these kids are coming out. Kids, we're all kids, but they're coming out of.
No, I'm excited
coming out of college
to hear. This is my understanding, but I'm excited to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, they're coming out of college with massive experience because most of them do the internships every summer, and they play a lot with technology, so they really like
so greater comfort and familiarity.
Exactly. Startups is in their DNA, and when they come, they understand that everyone is at the table they can change.
Yeah.
Whereas
they can have an impact.
Exactly, they can have a true impact, and you can feel it, you can breathe it there. And Web Summit is another great landmark for them, for Lisbon and Portugal as a whole. And I think you're going to hear great things coming out of Lisbon, because if you look at the position, even they are within Europe, is the landscape to actually get into the rest of Europe. So it'll be interesting. Could be a bridge between America, Dublin, Lisbon. So
yeah, it's exciting.
You never know. It could be that
it's a cool city. Good weather consistently all year round as well. So that's gonna help. So tell us, where to next?
Yes, I think you alluded that because we're leaving to the US.
Amazing. So what's that all about?
We're going to Iowa, the capital of insurance.
Iowa?
Really? Iowa, yes, in America.
Why?
So if you think of, for example, coming back to where we spoke.
The coffee shops and
the coffee shops in London, Lloyd's grew up from that.
The Black Horse Bank.
you know your history, so Yeah,
it's very iconic. They had a great ad there recently. That's especially fresh in my mind. Yeah.
So that's the main that every insurance company wanted to be in London, and then they grew up out of that. That's the big marketplace grew out of that. So if you think of Lloyd's in London as the epicenter of insurance, you have to. Iowa is the same thing in America, because there's a lot of a great number of insurance companies based in Iowa, and they're creating really, really a great environment to foster insurance in startups.
So is there a specific program then that you're going?
Yes, we're going to a program with Global Insurance Accelerator, run by Brian Hemstad. Is really, really great. I could feel his energy even through Skype. He's a great guy. We're going to be there for 100 days. And within those 100 days, we're going to meet several mentors from different insurance companies. They're going to validate our proposition, because we want to explore the American market. Because
that's cha-ching.
No, we're not in there for the money.
Fair enough. But you certainly have huge numbers in the US that you'll be able to do a lot of cool things with those kind of numbers.
Exactly, and
customers,
but not only that, Richie, they embrace startups. When I mean they embrace, they have a roadmap for if they want to put your product in the market very quickly. They actually have the facilities to do it.
Why did you say that? Why specifically? I'm kind of getting a sense that somewhere else you didn't have that same experience, that there was a kind of an end goal in sight.
I think a lot of in Europe there's more of the culture of startups in Europe as a whole is more of let's keep on the pulse on the field and see what they're doing, and
so it's more startup rather than end game. It focuses on starting up. Where are you suggesting that in the US there's more of a sort of you're not just going to start up, we're going to think about the entire ecosystem and the evolution?
Exactly. US, they think about it as like when you start up, they think of it as a company and where could you go really? Where is the beauty of this? What you're building, right? And I think that's they see they want a clear vision.
Yeah.
And if you can execute on that vision, they'll give you whatever you need to execute on that vision if they believe in it.
So this is really interesting.
Yes, I think that's why we said why not? I think we'll explore this very quickly, because we described them the whole vision. We didn't give them chunks, because sometimes certain areas. If we started in Ireland and our initial message was, well, we're brand coming out now. We want to incentivize users to become healthier, and then one insurance company is to take a part on this and be responsible, give money back to the consumer. They'll kick you out of the room in a couple of seconds. Now you want to take money from our bottom line.
And the reality of it is too that the amount of money that you would raise in Ireland is let's face it, it's probably going to be, if you got 3 million, you'd be doing well. But what's the average investment? Somewhere around $500,000. So what you're suggesting is, because at the end of the day, that's effectively just a seed round. in real terms. What you're suggesting is that in the US, I suppose, you know, it makes sense that we're hearing about all the huge valuations, but are you suggesting that they're a function of, the valuations are a function of a different approach?
You're right, Richard, and that's where fundamentally where I'm actually going with this. As the startups in Ireland, the money they can raise here, they can also save themselves to run a real company and be competitive in this landscape.
Yeah.
Especially as a fintech startup, you need to leave a reasonable amount to build a company whereby you can participate in the industry where you want to change, transform. The rounds in Ireland, I feel in Ireland, but not only in Ireland, in Europe, they're pretty. Europe, but we have to exclude London from it, because London actually are doing quite well at the moment in Germany. They understand fintech and they understand the actual input that needs to go to run a fintech company in terms of resources and in terms of the capital also. So they're well funded. When they believe in startup, they fund it well. So that's
the cost of doing a fintech are so much higher because there's a lot more of a regulatory burden. Your security has to be so rigorous.
Exactly, security.
There's a cost associated with that.
There's a cost associated with security. There's a cost associated also with the expertise of these people that you want to bring into the company. Also, if you're looking at the tech side of things, they're expensive, but you're looking at also experts within their own industry.
So you're suggesting that there's a realization of this in London, Germany, and in the US.
In the US,
and that's a huge reason for moving in that direction.
It is a huge need, but we're Irish startup and we're Ireland based.
So you're going to continue to be registered as an LTD in Ireland?
Yes, we are pretty much. We believe this is our roots. I grew up here.
Yeah, because you spoke very passionately about that when we chatted about the Idea Starter campaign.
You know, I came into this because I studied insurance. I believe in insurance. I believe Irish. I always all the companies I've worked in the past in Ireland, in life and on life, I believe that why don't we want to be the best? Why can't we try and compete with London, compete with America? Why can't we? We have the facilities.
Well, I think what it's really good, what you're suggesting here is that it's not black and white. It's not a case of go to America and not come back. It's a case of you're based in Ireland, but the opportunity came to build on the incredible experience it sounds like you've had in Tala, to go to Portugal, and now you're going to go to the US to build on that further, but ultimately you're going to come back here, and that you're a global citizen, and we're all global citizens now, and you're going to be taking advantage of that.
Exactly that, Richie. You know,
so it's not this them versus us that we're sometimes seeing.
No, it shouldn't be them versus us. We should, as we know, or the article even we wrote is about sharing knowledge and sharing expertise. Awesome. And the more expertise and the more exposure you get, of course, for the environment, of course, the startup scenes, you know, better for the actual country or the participants taking part of it. For example, myself, I've traveled quite a lot, and that helped me enrich myself in my own thinking and
as a personal development point of view. Yeah.
Exactly, and I see that in the company also. In order to get different views and be able to tackle this huge insurance problem that we have to see different problems in different areas and look at how can we actually focus on this as a whole and bring it down. Yeah.
So what advice would you have for other Irish fintech startups?
Honestly, I said this an idea starter, and it didn't go quite well, but I think there's a need to go and explore and bring it back, the knowledge and the funds.
So sorry, just to qualify that, so you feel that from the idea starter, the weekend that
as in, like, I was interviewed and someone asked me what was my next steps. I'll say I'll probably will have to go to the likes of London.
So to take a step back, so if somebody had completed, we'll say for argument's sake, they'd come out of a hackathon like Idea Starter with a fintech idea, your advice would be that it's important to travel with that idea.
I would say, for example, this is my path, but different people could take different paths. I think Ireland has a great infrastructure for the initial stages of developing the MVP.
Yes.
So New Frontiers Phase 2 is a great program, gives you enough capital for you to develop MVP and to focus on your idea for 6 months. And then if you want to really go the next step, where we're actually reaching now, where we're reaching the step that we have to raise the seed money to seed or pre-series A to bring the actual value proposition to life as a full enterprise solution. I think Ireland could be harder to do that. But then again, I found it a bit hard to do that because the level of equity they were asking for the input, I found they didn't see the value, because if they saw the vision, they could say, okay, we're trying to rob this guy
for small money, for huge equity.
Exactly. Whereas in America, I know the areas, I think they will see the value proposition, and they will see the actual industry as a whole, not only Ireland. But I think when people look at invest in Irish startups, they look at Ireland and
the Irish market.
But what was the approach from the global market? We're looking at a market that has over $4 trillion. So if you're looking at that value proposition, you could put a couple of million to save. You can actually partake in that.
It's very exciting times ahead.
As we're going to be blogging constantly now, we want to share our experiences. And
we'll have to get you doing a video blog for us as well.
I'll see how this one turns out.
Alright, come on.
I don't know if I'm as photogenic
What I'd love you to do is to be able to share this story, and perhaps you could do a monthly video log for us and update us on what you're up to.
Oh, definitely.
Awesome.
We're definitely going doing that. I really enjoyed the chat. And yourself, where you can catch me anytime. I have a lot of time for you.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you soon. Best of luck in the US, and look forward to keeping in touch with the update.
Thanks, Richie, and we'll be at the Global Insurance Accelerator from February till May. So that's where we're going to be in America, in Iowa.
Find the boys. Show off the T-shirt there.
WeSavvy.
Awesome.